Hello. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about analyzing your novel. And hopefully, you're already writing your research paper because it's a very long paper and you need to craft it over time. It's worth a significant part of your course grade. So, in an earlier video about, it was called Writing with Literary Devices in a previous lesson, I talked about, as an example, the yellow wallpaper. And well, one thing I was talking about was setting. And I discussed bars on the windows in the yellow paper and in the yellow wallpaper, and that would be an aspect of setting we could look at if you were trying to write about something like the main character, the narrator. Her name is actually Jane. That's easy to miss, but she's feeling like a prisoner, and then bars in the window. It's an aspect of setting that goes with the whole prisoner theme. Well, the bars on the window could also be considered a symbol. So, for purposes of this little talk here, I wanted to talk about symbolism. Let's say you were using symbolism to analyze parts of your novel. Well, using the short story, again, the yellow wallpaper as an example, the bars on the window are also a symbol. So really, what is symbolism defined? Well, I recommended the website to you, literarydevices.net, and they define symbolism as a literary device that refers to the use of symbols in a work, something that stands for or suggests something else. It represents something beyond literal meaning, like the bars on the windows. Well, they're bars on the windows. But in literature, a symbol can be a word, an object, an action, a character, or even a concept that embodies or evokes a range of additional meaning and significance. So that range beyond literally being bars on a window symbolizes, if we're using symbolism, her feeling trapped and a prisoner in her own home. So it could work with setting, it could work with symbolism. Excuse me. Another short story that you had available to you, and you could apply this same principle to when you're analyzing a novel, was Young Goodman Brown. And so there's a part where, well, we learn later in the story that young Goodman Brown has been traveling through the woods at night with this man who is really the devil. And he has a staff. And at one point, he sort of emulates Moses. So if you remember biblically, if you've ever read the story of Moses, Moses is confronting Pharaoh to release the slaves. And so excuse me, Pharaoh has two snakes come forward, and you could see this in the movie The Ten Commandments, is where I'm really drawing this from. And Moses throws down his staff, and God turns it into a snake that devours the other two snakes. And so the staff becomes a symbol for the staff in Young Goodman Brown, becomes a symbol that goes beyond the literal meaning of a staff. It connects to that biblical story, and the staff then in both stories, in Scripture and in Young Goodman Brown, becomes a connection to something that's supernatural, beyond our earthly realm. So that is a way you could use, for instance, symbolism. Look for particular objects or actions or characters that seem to represent something else, where you can make a connection to something else beyond the literal meaning. And that's how you can use symbolism as a means of literary analysis. I hope this is helpful. Thank you.